I guess my question is, why do they continue, even if they're nervous, to hound on it and sort of like try and force people to care about something they just don't?
I'm not sure they are hounding on it or forcing people to care. I mean, it's sort of, obviously everyone is different, right? I mean, Liz Cheney is not on the ballot because she lost her primary. I think, the most vocal critics of certainly what Donald Trump and what a lot of the Republicans have done have been people like Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney, who have already lost. I mean, they're very lonely within their party, right? I mean, it's not a winning proposition.
Yeah, no, it's a great.
And also, right, and not in the Democratic Party either. But again, I mean, it's it's hard to say that everyone is harping on it as the election savior, because I think I don't know. I think it's a whole.
But fair enough. During the summer, the January 6th committee was in full swing, and Democrats were doing a lot better in the polls. I mean, I remember at the end of August, it was really looking like there was a chance. Democrats were talking about trying to keep the House. If Democrats lose the House and Senate, which at least according to our models, at least a 50-50 chance in the Senate, maybe even worse for Democrats. Are Democrats going to say the January 6th committee sort of wasn't worth it? Like this just didn't work the way we thought it was going to?
I don't think they'll say that. I mean, they would say, I mean, whether they mean it or not, it's not a political exercise. I mean, I think it's been actually quite effective. And it did sort of educate a lot of people in the moment. The fact is, though, it's not, I don't think it was ever a real election issue. And sort of if you look over the summer, democracy threats were actually higher in the polls. But again, I mean, that was then, and the January 6th committee has sort of faded away a little bit, and they've had one presentation. So
you wrote the book This Town. I'm going to get to thank you for your servitude in a minute. But This Town, 2 parties, a funeral, plus plenty of valet parking in America's gilded capital. To anyone who hasn't read it, it's one of the greatest introductions to Washington in history, and it will make you really sad and laugh at the same time. But it got me thinking, is one of the reasons sort of the chattering class and the Washington elite continue to talk about January 6th, threats to democracy, January 6th, is just this continued disconnect that probably even since you wrote the book has gotten worse from Washington, where everyone's insulated, politicians, journalists, pundits, et cetera, out to the rest of all America.
I think that is a great point, and it is hardly new. I mean, I think Washington's disconnect from the rest of the country, Washington's ability to be wrong about conventional wisdom is a time-tested tradition, whether it's America isn't ready to elect an African-American president, or Hillary is inevitable, or Donald Trump will never be elected president, or there are weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. I mean, go down the list. I mean, Washington conventional wisdom is wrong time and again. And, who knows? We could be wrong now. I mean, things could look different in a week. And believe me, no one thought Donald Trump was going to win the election in 2016 a week out.
No doubt. I got to get you to your current book. Yeah. Thank you for your servitude. #1 New York Times bestseller, Donald Trump's Washington and the Price of Submission. Tie that into this quote from The Atlantic. Are voters more upset with Democrats over the economy or with Republicans over lingering Trumpism? Even though there is this servitude and submission to Donald Trump, it doesn't seem to be costing Republicans as much this year as Democrats hoped.
I mean, caveat emptor, we'll see, right? But I think you're right. I mean, look, the economy is a big-time losing issue for Democrats right now. I don't think there's any doubt about it, and I don't think there's anything they're going to say, especially around inflation, that's going to change that in the next few days. When I wrote this book, I basically went and I talked to a lot of these people, a lot of these Republicans, Kevin McCarthy, Lindsey Graham, Marco Rubio, I mean, the whole crew, all of whom had real reservations about Donald Trump and the direction the Republican Party was going. And now they have thrown in completely with it, which is sort of the central premise of the book. It's sort of, I mean, it's funny, you mentioned This Town. I mean, the working title of that book 10 years ago was Suck Up City, basically. Basically, it's the same thing, right? I mean, it happens in the Republican Party. Yep. People are living in fear of Donald Trump. In the Democratic Party, people are in fear of angering the liberals. So there we go. The same title works. It's all the same story, Leland.
Suck Up City. That is phenomenal. That's great. Hey, Mark, the expectations were high. I'm so excited to have had you on. We'll have you back soon. This was great. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.